Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your betting game by hitting that subscribe button and ensure you never miss out on our daily content. Want exclusive access to premium betting picks? Join our Patreon. Links are waiting for you in the comment section below. Stay ahead of the game with High Stakes. The annual clash between Georgia Tech and Georgia carries its usual mix of rivalry stakes and strategic implications, with both teams entering the matchup with much to play for. Georgia Tech, 7-4, has exceeded expectations this season and finds itself poised for a bowl bid, likely facing Michigan in the Mayo Bowl. Meanwhile, Georgia, 9-2, has locked in an SEC championship berth and remains firmly in the college football playoff picture. The Yellow Jackets have proven to be resilient this season, winning their last two games against quality opponents in Miami, 28-23, and NC State, 30-29. Their success is anchored in a balanced offensive attack and a defense that bends but doesn't break. Impressively, Tech boasts a perfect 5-0 home record and has swept the state of North Carolina, defeating Duke, UNC, and NC State. Despite their overall success, Georgia Tech has struggled against the spread ATS, going 5-5-1 and failing to cover in 3 of their last 4 contests. They're also a strong under team with an 8-3 record against the total. Key injuries, particularly to starting QB Haynes King, have required freshman Aaron Philo to step up, and he has delivered in clutch moments, including a game-winning scramble against NC State last week. Offensively, Georgia Tech averages 27.9 points per game while allowing 23.1. Their run-heavy approach, led by junior RB Jamal Haynes, 717 yards, 9 TDs, pairs well with their offensive line, which has allowed just 1 sack every 2 games. Defensively, the Yellow Jackets rank 41st nationally in total defense, allowing 340 yards per game. The Bulldogs enter this game with high stakes, needing one more win to solidify their playoff credentials. With a balanced offense led by senior QB Carson Beck, Georgia averages 33.2 points per game. Beck's 65% completion rate and 23 touchdowns have been pivotal, though his 12 interceptions are a concern. Defensively, Georgia is a powerhouse, ranking 16th nationally by allowing just 312 total yards per game and excelling on third downs, 31.9% conversion rate allowed. The Bulldogs have been dominant in key matchups, including wins over Clemson, Tennessee, and Texas, but have struggled ATS this season 3-8. My team pick: take Georgia Tech plus 19.5. The Yellow Jackets have proven capable of staying within striking distance and should do so again. My total pick is under 54 points. Both teams lean on their defenses and run-heavy offenses, particularly in a cold weather game, which should slow the pace and limit scoring. Expect a physical battle with Georgia securing the win, but Georgia Tech covering the spread in Athens. Georgia State versus Kentucky, as the 8th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats face off against the Georgia State Panthers. There's a clear disparity between the two teams, both in terms of their overall performances and statistical standings. With Kentucky off to a perfect 6-0 start and Georgia State sitting at 4-3, this matchup presents a clear favorite in the Wildcats. Georgia State enters this game after a hard-fought 74-71 victory over Tulsa, where they shot 43.5% from the field but struggled from behind the arc, connecting on just 18.8% of their 3-point attempts. However, their success at the free throw line, 17-4-23, played a pivotal role in the win. With their dominance on both ends of the floor, Kentucky is a heavy favorite to cover a large spread. Georgia State simply doesn't have the necessary tools to slow down the Wildcats' high-powered offense, and they will struggle to keep this game within 30 points. Pick Kentucky to cover minus 30 points. Kentucky's offensive efficiency will likely drive this game to the over. Despite Georgia State's defensive weaknesses, they will score enough to push the total up, but ultimately, Kentucky's relentless offense will be the difference maker. The over is a strong play in this matchup. Pick over 162 points. While Georgia State has shown some promise, their defensive issues and the explosive nature of Kentucky's offense will likely be too much to overcome. The Wildcats will cruise to a comfortable victory and cover the spread, with the game going over the total due to their offensive onslaught. Final score prediction: Kentucky 99, Georgia State 68. ChatGPT said, ChatGPT, Gonzaga versus Davidson is shaping up to be a fascinating matchup, and here's why the Bulldogs should cover and the over is likely to hit. Gonzaga has been firing on all cylinders this season, averaging a whopping 90.7 points per game, ranking 8th in the country. Even though they dropped an overtime loss to West Virginia, they bounced back with a dominant win over Indiana. The Bulldogs excel at nearly every aspect of the game, especially offensively, with standout players like Ryan Nembhard leading the charge. Their offense ranks second in offensive efficiency, averaging 124.2 points per 100 possessions. This high-powered offense should have no problem putting up big numbers against Davidson, whose defense has been shaky at best. Their defensive efficiency ranks 176th, allowing 105.4 points per 100 possessions, which is a red flag when facing one of the most potent offenses in the country. Davidson's offense is no slouch either, scoring 83.8 points per game, 50th, and their field goal shooting has been solid, but they will have a tough time keeping up with Gonzaga's pace. The Wildcats are strong offensively, but their defense just doesn't have the chops to slow down the Zags. With both teams likely to score at a high rate, the over on this game looks promising. Prediction: Gonzaga covers. Gonzaga is one of the elite teams in college basketball this season, and they've demonstrated their offensive prowess time and time again. Even with a rare loss to West Virginia, the Bulldogs quickly reminded everyone of their capabilities by blowing out Indiana. Their offense, averaging 90.7 points per game, 8th in the nation, is built around an incredibly efficient system that thrives on fast-paced scoring and high field goal percentage. This makes them a nightmare for teams like Davidson, who, while solid on offense, simply can't match Gonzaga's firepower. Gonzaga has a clear size, depth, and skill advantage in this matchup, and Davidson's defense simply doesn't have the tools to keep up with the Bulldogs for a full 40 minutes. Gonzaga is just too well-rounded and experienced to let this one slip away, and with their fast tempo and depth, they should cover the spread comfortably by outscoring Davidson in every facet of the game. The Bulldogs' ability to score in transition, along with their rebounding edge, will allow them to dominate possession and control the game's pace, putting Davidson at a disadvantage. Expect the Bulldogs to win by double digits, covering the spread with ease. My total pick is over 162 points. When you have two teams that can light up the scoreboard like Gonzaga and Davidson, the over becomes an appealing option. Gonzaga's offense ranks second in offensive efficiency, 124.2 points per 100 possessions, and they're putting up an impressive 90.7 points per game. With their ability to score from all over the floor, inside, outside, and at the free throw line, they're bound to hit their mark of 90-plus points once again in this matchup. With Gonzaga's dominant offense and Davidson's shaky defense, this game should see plenty of scoring. Expect the Bulldogs to cover the spread comfortably, leveraging their superior shooting, size, and depth to win by double digits. As for the total points, the game's pace and offensive firepower from both teams should push the total over 162 points, providing a thrilling, high-scoring contest. Take Gonzaga to cover and the over to hit in what promises to be an exciting, up-tempo matchup.